in between each of your row 2 repeats, you're going to have a row 3 repeat, which is essentially just a purl row. You're just purling all of these stitches. The only thing that you have to watch out for on the row 3 repeats is the yarn overs. So as you can see, this is a normal purl stitch here. And then I come to this funky thing. And that doesn't look like all of my normal stitches because it's one of my yarn over stitches. And the yarn overs need to be purled through the back loop rather than through the front loop like you would a normal stitch. If you purl it through the front loop, see how that creates kind of this big hole there? You'll have these big holes in your work. Now, if you happen to do that and you realize it later, as long as you're consistent, that's totally fine. It'll just have a slightly different look. But you just have to be consistent throughout the pattern in one form or another. The way the pattern is written is for you to purl these yarn overs through the back loop. And in order to do that, it's a little bit tricky, but you have to kind of insert your needle there through the back loop, because normally we would purl it here, right? So instead we purl it here through that back loop. But in order to do that, you have to be careful because you can see how I just dropped it off of my needles. So if you do it like this and you purl it, it's going to fall entirely off of your needles. And then you can stick it back on there and try again. What you need to do is purl it through this back loop, but rather than leaving it there before you do your yarn over, you need to bring your needle through that center piece. So as you can see, it's kind of coming through. Let me show you that one more time. So I'm inserting through the back of the loop, but then I'm bringing my needle up and through those two, so that I'm essentially bringing the back loop in front of the front loop. Then I can purl it and you'll see the twist happen. There's that twist happening in that stitch. And as I drop it off, we don't get that giant hole. You can see no hole there. Okay, so here's another yarn over because we always have 2 yarn overs with a knit in between. And I'm going to show you again. We insert through the back loop of that yarn over, but if you purl it right now, remember what's going to happen? It's just going to fall right, oopsie, it's just going to fall right off and you'll lose a stitch. So make sure that you are inserting through that back loop and then you're bringing your needle through so you've got that nice little twist. Then you purl that and it falls off, and as you can see, no holes, nice and tidy from the front. There it is. You'll be able to see it better as you get a few more rows in. But that's the general theory. So just continue to purl across that row and make sure that you purl all of those yarn overs through the back loop.